Okay. Here is my recommended strategy, and it's by suggestion. And my suggestion is targeted at both parents and children. So whether you're a parent or a child, there are three things I think we need to do increasingly. One is listen. Listen to each other more. We don't listen to each other. Parents don't listen to the children. Children don't listen to parents. So first thing we need to do is to be intentional in listening to each other. And listening is key. It is when we listen to each other, then we can move to my second recommendation. Learn to empathize. Learn to put yourself in their shoes. Rather than just take the position, my parents don't get it, my parents are wicked, or these children are so unruly, they're deviant. Learn to put yourself in their shoes. And if you have first started with the first listening, you are likely to be able to put yourself better in their shoes. So some of your parents did house help job to send you to school. So when they see you are not staying in school, or you are not studying hard, or you seem to be moving around with the wealthy who have blinded, are confusing your reality at the moment, that you don't wear this kind of designer cloth because we can't afford it in our house yet, right? Then that listening would help you empathize better to understand why they are the way they are, not because they're ordinarily wicked or unreasonable. So listen, empathize, then you can guide each other. To guide anybody, you have to have earned my trust. So if, as a parent, if I have not earned my children's trust, I can't guide them. As children, if you have not earned my trust, right, you can't guide me. So that's why I say each person has to just do those three things. Listen more, learn to empathize, that is, see the world from your parents or your children's lenses, then you can guide them. And then either party will be more accommodating of whatever differences you have. But if you have not learned to listen or to empathize, then that key element of guiding each other won't happen. And if we invest in this, and that's my worldview, one person at a time, one family at a time. Don't try to change the whole world of Nigeria. You cannot. And you constantly think there's nothing working, right? So anytime I say one person at a time, start with yourself. A lot of us are hypocrites. You know, we do a lot of talk and speaking out there. But you yourself, how are you with your parents? How are you with your children? So I as much as possible. That's why I'm usually this blunt. And sometimes some struggle with why I'm that forward with my views and my experience. So I just talk about what I go through and what I've learned. So those are my three guides. Listen more, empathize, then you can guide each other. But take responsibility. Blame your parents from now till tomorrow. Possibly your parents have another 10, 30 years to live. You have to be too late. That those wicked parents actually meant well, even if the approach was wrong.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. I really love what your wife is doing. We all need to stand on leg, listen, empathize, guide. I think you two of you are a good match. I love it.
It's great with acronyms. Even me, I'm going to steal that acronym now.
Yes.
Stand on the leg, listen, empathize, guide. That's it, honestly. That's it.
Well, thank you. I can't even begin. I'm very sure in my heart that people who listened, I'm sure that there would be conversations in their hearts and that process of healing. And I'm really glad about this. And definitely, I think that this is something that has to continue because we have to keep pushing the word out there. And I love what you've said. And I think I can summarize. We all have to take responsibility. It can be tough. Life is tough. You know, I don't think that we were promised that life will be easy. Life is tough. We have different experiences. We go through different things. I know, and I know, you know, I've listened to two great women, Oprah and Joyce Meyer. These guys were abused. I know that Joyce Meyer was abused by her father.
Yeah.
She went through a lot, but she chose to take responsibility and even forgive him and to live a good life. Right, Oprah, the same thing, went through a lot. So indeed, it is our choices at the end of the day. You know, you can actually move past that thing that you've gone through. You can decide now and say, you know what, I know that I went through this. I know that this happened, but you know what, I'm choosing to take charge of my life and do what needs to be done, right, to make sure that I become a better, so that when I start having children, also that I can impact my world. Because just like you said, sir, it really starts with one person. If we can change, you know, one of the things I decided to do this year was to get to the deepest part of my soul, right? Because I realized even from last year that there were things baggages I was still carrying that I needed to really work on, right? And I chose to take responsibility. You know, I even joined one class by on emotional intelligence, and doing so many other things to just make sure that so that I don't also pass whatever I'm complaining about to my children. I also want to live a life of impact. And that's why I do these conversations, right? So
sorry to interrupt, Temi, you know, because I think it's instructive. It just struck me now. The two names you mentioned, Oprah Winfrey, Joyce Meyer, now, they would have blamed everything on parents and society and all of that.
yes.
But in reality, that was the path to their purpose on earth.
Yes.
That was the path to Oprah Winfrey being, I think, maybe still the richest Black woman on earth.
Yes.
If she hadn't gone through that experience, she would not have started a TV program where people come and talk about their pains and healing. And that was the path. If Joyce Meyer had not gone through what she went through, she would not have created a ministry for abused people and become the highest gross selling female author on earth. So sometimes what we call pain and harassment is part of what God may have placed in our path to purpose.
We just need that understanding.
Honestly. And that's why who you hang out with matters. So perspective matters.